That's
So
right.
the harmonic
Well,
convergence.
I was here in '87, the harmonic convergence. I decided I wanted to experience the harmonic convergence. Is the end of the Mayan calendar, I think is what it was. I
Mm.
wanted to be on Machu Picchu for the harmonic convergence. So
Mm.
there's a bunch of people in town who are going to do that. There's like a dozen people. It's kind of similar to what you do, what others do. You get a bunch of people together, you go somewhere, you have a sacred site sort of experience, and everybody's happy. So I signed up for this thing. And at a certain point you had where you had to pay your money,
Mm.
and it wasn't a huge amount of money. And but out of those 12 people who wanted to do this, three of us actually could write a check. You know, and the others, some of them were just literally sitting and meditating as hard as they could, visualizing prosperity and seeing all this money coming to them, but it never came.
Of
You know,
course, of course.
yeah. So I just think, um, you know, take responsibility for your own space, for your own life. Welcome in spiritual guidance in whatever form it comes. But don't make a condition and don't beg. I don't think there's any point in begging. If there is, I mean, it's good to visualize. It's good to ask for. I think it's good to, you know, visualize. Just kind of do whatever you can, but be the master of your own life. I think that's what. The one thing that someone said when I was in Pune, and Bhagwan used to have these question and answer things. So people would ask questions, and someone
Bhagwan is Osho. I have to
Osho,
remind. Yeah.
Osho, and so one of the questions was, kind of why do you call yourselves masters? And the short version, I mean, he would probably answer for 2 hours, but the short version of the answer was, you know, we are the masters of our minds. You are the slave of your mind. Basically, your mind says something, you believe it. Your mind says something, you go running over here. Your mind says something, you go running over there. He said the true masters are the masters of their own minds. So the mind is your servant, not your master. Like if your mind is your master, you're not a master.
Not you're a slave.
Well, you're just at the beck and call, at the whim of your ego, and your mind and your personality and all that stuff. And that was the insight that he offered was, the reason why we call ourselves masters is because we're the masters of our minds, not vice versa.
What about the heart? Where the heart stands?
Well, I think the heart is guidance, really. It's kind of like people say about your gut. What does your gut say? What does your heart say? I think that's a good thing to tune into. And they both will. If you, the key of all this is meditation. I don't. One of the things that I notice here in Sedona is a lot of New Age people. They'll go running from this group to that group, and they've got the crystals going. They're ringing this and
I
ringing
know.
that, but they're not sitting. They're not sitting and just being. And I think meditation is a very important key. If you have a regular meditation practice, that will put you in touch with what's in your heart. And that's really what's in some ways the most important, because your heart might tell you something that your mind is telling you something completely different of, and then you've got an opportunity to go with the mind, with the ego, the personality, whatever, or to go with, what your heart says.
And what is meditation?
Well, is it dinner time?
Yeah, we're close.
Okay.
We're ready.
Give us 7, 8 minutes. 8 minutes.
Okay. All right. You got 8 minutes.
Not 9, just 8.
8.
Um,
I'm precise. 8 for prosperity.
yeah, right. Got to watch that numerology.
Yeah.
It'll get you. Um, well, meditation is, having a meditation practice. I think, sitting, putting your butt on a chair and a cushion, whatever, and closing your eyes and going within, and giving time for things to settle. I mean, my current meditation, I've done a lot of meditations over the years, but I tend to go back to the one that I learned, with the Buddhists and also in Pune, which is kind of it's pretty much Vipassana, watching the mind. You sit pretty much at the same day every time, in the same place, you get comfortable, you close your eyes, and you watch your breath. Your breath goes in, the breath goes out, and then Osho used to say that thoughts will come. like clouds, you know, in the sky. They'll kind of drift by, and your consciousness is the clear blue sky. But here comes this thought, and when you're in meditation, you just watch it, and you let it go. You know, you don't feed it. You don't. You know, two of the principles that I got out of Buddhism is non-attachment. You know, and I forget what the other one is, but just don't get attached.
To anything.
Yeah, well, to thoughts. You know,
What are
what
your
usually what
thoughts?
happens. We're talking about meditation. Usually, what or disidentification. That's the other one. But what happens usually, people who start trying to meditate, and they sit there, and a thought comes, so they go, "Oh, yes, she was really mean to me. Oh, I'm going to call her up and tell her." You know, they get involved.
Yeah.
They get attached to the thought. They feed that. You know, so don't get attached. If you're meditating, thoughts come. Of course, they're going to come. You know, duh. You'll get some time in there, if you're lucky, when there'll be open space, when you'll just be feeling, you know, your body and hopefully feeling blissful, and you won't have thoughts bothering you, you know. But oftentimes thoughts will come. But you just, what I do is I go, okay, I see you, thought. Bye bye. I'm meditating now, and it just sort of drifts away, you know. And disidentification is similar, but it's related to aspects of your ego,
Yeah.
you know, and your personality. So, you know, if a thought comes, you start to feel angry, then you've got an opportunity not only to not watch the thought and get attached to it and feed it, but also to disidentify with the person, if you like, which is your personality, which is like imbuing it with all that emotional kind of
And wanting to react.
yeah, and feeling hard done by or pissed off or I've been judged or whatever. I mean, you know, there's a lot there, and you don't realize it until you close your eyes and sit still for 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever you can manage. But if you have a regular meditation practice, you'll learn a lot about yourself that you won't learn by reading, you know, because you'll actually be dealing with you, you know, the different
Directly.
parts directly with the parts that make up your consciousness, your spirit, whatever you want to call it, you know, your life, you know, and there's very little reflection I notice at least in Western culture, people charge from one success or disaster to the next, and there's very little time when people just stop and sit and reflect, you know, and that's what you get to do in meditation.
Do you think that meditation is the key?
Well, it's part of the, you know, it's one of the keys.
What are the parts? What other parts do you see?
Well, money's good.
Money is beautiful.
Like one of my favorite sayings is, money's not the only important thing in life, but it's way ahead of whatever's in second place. And Bhagwan, the Osho, used to say that. It's like people would say, well, why don't more Indians meditate? And his answer, short version, was, you know, if you're saving up for your first bicycle or your first car or your first business, that's your focus.
Yeah.
You know, meditation's a luxury. I mean, we can do it in the West, you know, or you do it in the East or anywhere. But you've got to pretty much have your house together and some little bit of money and some food in your tummy, and you're not worried about your family and this and that, you know. But that's not to say that you only meditate when things are going well, because he also said, I heard him say one time, that, you know, if something happens to you that disturbs you, upsets you, as soon as possible, he used to say, join it with meditation. That was a term that he used to use, as I recall. Join it with meditation. So you sit and you're not trying to psychoanalyze yourself or process it. You're just sitting and being with what is. Because meditation is not, you know, something where you're trying to do anything. You're not trying at all. You're just being in awareness. The watcher, you know, the witness. Witnessing consciousness is another term for it. It's like you're sitting, things are happening, and you're just watching it go by. And it's what happens is you become acquainted with your mind and your personality in a way that you can't if you're just charging ahead and going from one crisis to another or one victory to another or whatever. You're still acting out of ego and you know, training in a lot of cases, you know. But when you sit and you meditate, boom, you know, it's just you and your mind, and you know, deal with it, and just don't get attached, but just use it as an opportunity to become more aware. That's really the key, you know. Awareness is the key.
I feel that with meditation, with that watching your breath, seeing it come in and out.
Right. Well, you can
Many-
do. I mean, you know, I did TM for a couple of years. When I was teaching high school, it was very stressful, and TM, really, Transcendental Meditation
Yeah.
from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, that really saved me. You know, I'd sit for 20 minutes in the morning, do my mantra. I'd go to school, get beaten up by the kids, come home, plop down, sit for 20 minutes, and thoughts would come. And instead of watching my breath, which is what you do in Vipassana, I would do my mantra.
Exactly. But then again, don't you feel that many doors could open? The way it comes to me, like many doors in the sense of many doors of your consciousness that will open many doors in your life. Does it?
Yeah, I mean, that's possibly a little more complicated than it needs to be, but certainly the more aware you become, the more conscious decisions you make, the more likely you're going to be at ease with your life. You know, because you won't feel like you were pushed into this, or you
Exactly.
did it too quickly,
Alright, we're
or
serving
you
dinner
didn't
now,
think
stop.
about it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the 8 minutes have finished.
Yeah, we're out of time.
Yeah, we're never out of time.
No, no.
No, never. I'm so grateful for this. How do you like this interview to be titled?
Oh, let's see. Just reflections is good.
Lovely. I love that.
Because that's really what it's about. Things happen, you reflect on them, your consciousness changes a little bit, and then hopefully going forward you make,
Yeah,
you know.
I love those reflections.
Yeah.
They are. Thank you, Graham. Thank you for allowing me. Thank you for allowing my YouTube channel to have this interview. I mean, I never thought this is the best ever.
Well, I'm just, you know, a person who's, you know, moving through life. I'm not anybody's guru, and I don't claim to
No,
be enlightened or anything. I
but
just,
that's the thing.
just
That's
try and
the
live a
most
conscious
beautiful
life.
thing. That's the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
We're just passing through life and we're learning from our experiences.
There you go.
Maybe good lessons, maybe hard lessons, maybe lemons.
Lemons.
Lemons. That's
You're on
my
that
book.
lemon thing. It's
Yeah,
like, what's
yeah.
that like? Life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Is that where that's coming from?
No,
Okay.
it's called for it to be right, it must have lemons.
Well, lemon in America is a car that you should never have bought from the used car yard. So, I agree. No more lemons.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.